everyone. Now I feel like I'm giving a lecture. That's awesome. I'm Jamie. I'm an alcoholic. Welcome, everyone. I'm glad you made it, whether you're celebrating, a few years or your no days. That's amazing that you're here, um, and keep coming back. Um, I I just got out of the hot tub. I was chilling, hanging out with Leah, my friend who just got back from out of town, and I'm getting ready to move. So we're just hanging out. She's in the other room, and we're gonna have dinner after the meeting. And life is pretty good today. I got sober in 2002 on April 9th. So I just celebrated 19 years of sobriety. I know I got sober when I was like 5. No, I was 21 when I got sober, and I'm 40. And what a ride the last 19 years has been. But I'll tell you, I wouldn't trade the worst of it. And it's gotten pretty fucked up in sobriety. And is it okay if I swear? I'm assuming it is because my sponsor, Juliet, comes to this meeting and she probably wouldn't stay in a meeting if she couldn't swear. Um, but yeah, it's been pretty fucked up in sobriety, but like I wouldn't trade it, for the good times I had in my drinking days. Because I wouldn't be where I'm at today. That's pretty much it. I wouldn't have the sanity that I've gained. It's been slow for me. I used to have a friend in this program named Marguerite, and she would say, "I wish you a slow recovery." And I'm grateful to have had that. Um, I got sober in Las Vegas in 2002. I was in jail with no bail. I had killed my aunt's boyfriend with a knife. I stabbed him one time. He was going to throw me down a staircase, and I was arrested for murder. And I don't like to say that I'm going to qualify or give my qualification. It's something I never heard until I got out of prison. I didn't hear people saying that before I left, and I just don't like it because we don't really have you don't have to qualify to be an AA. If you don't have a crazy story like mine, or you didn't have to, if you didn't drink a bottle of vodka to get drunk, or like if you only had 2 glasses of wine a night, but you developed the phenomenon of craving and the mental obsession, you belong here, and I don't want people to get the wrong impression that they have to qualify, meet some qualifications to be a member of Alcoholics Anonymous. So with that, I'm just going to share my experience, strength, and hope, what it was like, what happened, and what it's like now. I do like to mention that I was in Las Vegas. I'm from the Bay Area. I'm from Martinez, California. And I was in Las Vegas when I killed my aunt's boyfriend, who I knew and was friends with. Um, but she was in an abusive relationship with the dude, and we were all messed up on all kinds of substances. And um, that's kind of the shit that goes down for some of us. Some of us are sicker than others. But I was down there in Vegas when I was 21 in 2002, after I had lived there for a couple years, and I was down there to take care of my first DUI. Um, if I don't talk about what it was like a little bit before I got sober, sometimes I could probably trick myself into thinking that like it was a fluke. It was a one-time crazy event that happened, and maybe I'm not an alcoholic. Because I wasn't out of my mind, like blacked out. I was coherent. I had a couple drinks, and other substances, but I remember everything. But that doesn't mean that I'm not an alcoholic. I was down in Vegas to take care of my first DUI, and my plan was I had a one-way ticket. I had lived there for a couple years when I was, had first gotten out of high school, and I was doing the whole Vegas thing, and got my first DUI when I was 19. Never took care of it, and my big plan was to go to Vegas and do the time because I got another DUI in Sacramento, and when I got kicked out of rehab, and I just couldn't come up with all the stuff I was supposed to do, like the get an installment in my car and go to meetings and take these classes and pay the fines. Like I couldn't do it, and so I my big plan at 21 was that I was going to go to Vegas and drink myself to death after I did that 20 days to get that DUI taken care of, or I was gonna sober up in jail when for that 20 days. And 2 days before I went in, my aunt's boyfriend had gotten out of jail for beating her up again, and he and I got into it, and I saw him beat up somebody, one of the neighborhood kids that night, and I made a decision to carry a knife with me because I knew he was crazy, and we all were, and anyway, I stabbed him. He had me, by my hair at the top of the stairs, and I stabbed him one time, and it went under his arm, and it got him in the heart, and he died. And um, I fought that case for 5 years. That night was the last time I drank or used any substances. And um, I went to rehab, and I started living my life. I worked the steps, and I did service. And with 5 years of sobriety, I went to trial and I lost, and I went to prison. I had to serve a 10 to 25-year sentence. Um, and, I had this expectation that I would go into prison and adjust through AA, and I would meet people that were involved in AA in prison. And unfortunately, kind of, I mean, who knows really, I got to prison and there were no meetings. I mean, we had a meeting. We had like one meeting a month where somebody would show up from H&I, and like two people would show up, two of my fellow prisoners. Um, and so I had to start meetings, and I had to, contact people, friends and sponsor on the outside to contact H&I in Las Vegas. And I, got, I made a friend who helped me learn how to do that, inside. And she helped me get a job in the education department. Also, good friend of mine, I'm still friends with. I actually recently, about 2 years ago, went to Sacramento and spoke on her behalf, and she just got out. And anyway, I'm able to show up for people today because of Alcoholics Anonymous. So anyway, I worked, for 8 out of those 10 years in prison. I worked as a tutor in the education department. And right in the middle of that, like from year 5 to year 6, for 2 years I worked in this warehouse job where I was like loading trucks and using a pallet jack, and I learned how to drive a forklift. But the money that we were making, which was minimum wage, but at the time, in that position, it was the highest paying job in the prison. But I was miserable. I was breaking myself and working for pennies, and I just wasn't happy. And so I went back to the education department and was a tutor, and I helped women, you know, um, do basic learn their basic math and English so that they could get a GED. And that was real fulfilling for me, even though I only made $1 a day. That was like where I stayed until like I left in 2017. So I got out in 2017, and I stayed sober through the whole thing, and it wasn't easy. Like on my 10, like a couple weeks after I had 10 years of sobriety, my roommate got busted with hooch in our cell, and I got a major write-up, and I almost went to the hole. But like my name wasn't even on the write-up because they knew it wasn't mine. It didn't belong to me because they knew me. By this time I was a thorn in their side. I was a pain in their ass. I didn't stay. I mean, I was definitely above the radar, um, as far as I'm concerned, in a good way, but I was a pain in their ass. I wanted our meetings. I fought for things like Sensodyne because they didn't clean teeth and fill cavities. They just pulled teeth. If you had a cavity and you wanted something done about it, they said, okay, well, we'll pull it, and that's it. Um, there it was difficult. I got my associate's degree inside. I heard some pretty crazy fifth steps on that yard and in those cells. But it was definitely, there's good and bad. But you know if I didn't have Alcoholics Anonymous, I don't think I would have been able to stay sober through it. Like I had the tools when I went to prison. I was able to share those with others. At one point, we had a meeting every single day of the week, and we had, you know, people sitting on the floor because we had so many. We were packed with meetings, but you know, the administration changes and they change the rules, and they shut them down because we didn't have somebody coming in from H&I every day. So we, you know, would get shut down and then have one meeting a week when people from H&I would show up. And it was very inconsistent, but you know, throughout it all, I always had my sponsor and made my call to my sponsor every week. You know, there, of course, I missed sometimes, and I wasn't always working a great program. There were times when I almost got in fights, and I've been, you know, cuffed up and brought to the sergeant's office. And you know, there were times when I was very happy and doing yoga every day and meeting sponsees, you know, every weekend on the yard. And that's just kind of how sobriety is. It's like life. It's unpredictable. You kind of learn how to move with the stream instead of against it. You know, at least for me, it's been a challenge. But I had this wonderful program that gave me these tools that I was able to go in with, and it carried me through. And I got out and I got into UC Berkeley. I just graduated a couple days ago. Like literally, I'm on Monday, I'm moving to Michigan. I got into a PhD program at the University of Michigan. I'm moving to Ann Arbor. Um, I had, you know, a going away party a couple days ago, and I had so many people show up that it was specifically for AA, like an AA going away party with all the people in my, you know, in my life in this program who showed up for me. And you know, I'm ready. I'm ready to move on to the next phase. I've been out almost 4 years. Next month is going to be 4 years that I've been out of prison, and I just, you know, it's been long and it's been a hard transition at times. When I went in, we didn't have smartphones yet. So when I got out in 2017, like I was like, what's the cloud? Like I thought it was like a satellite or something. And you know, things were going really fast. So when like COVID hit, like, and everything like kind of slowed down, you know, I've really been able to enjoy it because for me, it doesn't feel like lockdown. You know, I can go out and take a walk in nature wherever, whenever. I can eat whatever I feel like. I can make food. Yeah, it's just, it's been nice having the slow down. I know not, you know, other people don't really appreciate it the way I do, but, you know, Zoom meetings have been a such a I don't know, call it a blessing or you know, we're fortunate to have these Zoom meetings. There were times when I needed meetings and like I just had to write. I had to call somebody in the program, you know. Anyway, I've been like kind of all over the place. Sorry about that. I shipped all my stuff out, and I'm staying with my parents. Right now, I'm house sitting, and my uncle comes back tonight. But you know, staying with my parents is a challenge. But you know, I get to stay with them today, and we get along. Um, People trust me with their house. They give me the keys to their house, and they trust me to like take care of their pets and their babies. And you know, I'm right at this jumping off point of embarking on this new this 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 new adventure. And if I wasn't sober, I would probably have a life sentence. I wouldn't be lucky enough to die. I would probably be paralyzed or taken somebody else's life or something horrendous. And I know that. And I try to remember that on a daily basis because I heard early on from my first sponsor, remember that we deal with alcohol, cunning, baffling, powerful. And the most important word in that is remember, because when I forget is um, when I walk into danger. So I know I'm probably over time by now, so I'm gonna shut it down and open the meeting up so that other people could speak. And I know there was a lot in there to digest, but like I said, like you don't have to have the kind of bottom that some of us have had. Just stick around. It doesn't have to get worse, you know. Thanks for letting me share.